Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is day 18 of our 31 days challenge. Thank you for joining me again today. I'm so glad to have you here. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad you joined. Okay, so we are on day 18. But before we go on, please, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, if you're not following me on social media platforms on Facebook or Instagram, please appeal that you do that. Okay, so please do that. Um, Follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram. A drip of love, okay? And on YouTube here, just go down, click on the subscription bell button, click on the notification bell, just hit it and you get notifications from me whenever I post a new video, especially notifications from this challenge, okay? From this challenge. So let's go on. What do we have for today? What are we talking about today? Today we're looking at what does your child think about your marriage. If you can see me, if you can hear me, please let me have a thumbs up, please. If you can see me, I want to be sure that you can see and hear me. I want to be sure that you can see me. I want to be sure that you can hear me. Oh, you can't see anything. What's going on? Okay. Um, what's going on? Um, you can't see me. What's going on? Oh my God. Can you see me now, please? Hello, everyone. Can you see me now? Oh my God. What? Uh, okay. Please just give me a few minutes. Let me see what's going on. What's wrong with it? Can you see me, please? Can't see me. Oh my God. Please confirm that you can see me. So sorry about this. Can you see me now? I need to hear from you, please. Hello, everyone. Please just confirm. Okay. So sorry about that. Thank you so much. I'm going to introduce myself again. Thank you for joining me. This is day 18 of our 31 days challenge. Okay, sorry about the issues with the network and connections. Okay, so we'll just get right into it. Today, we're talking about marriage. What does a child think about your marriage? What does your child think about your marriage? How do they perceive your marriage? What is and how is your marriage impacting them? Now, Someone says that your kids watch you for a living. Like that's what they do. That is their job. That's what they do. So if we think that some things are irrelevant when it comes to our children, then we might be getting it all wrong. Okay? Our children pick up little things, minute things that we may not even realize are actually very important. And most of the time, they pick up details of it. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much. I hope it's clear now. Most of the time, they pick up details of these things. So that is why we should work to model a healthy marriage, work to model a happy marriage. So whatever it is that your children pick up from your marriage, or whatever it is that is actually causing some form of issues for them right now, is going to be major later in their life. So, what are you modeling to your child? Children can see your relationship with your spouse, or your relationship with your spouse is like a blueprint for their own future relationships, even for their present relationships. You ask a lot of children what is going on with them, why they are so aggressive. You go to find out, you will find out that a lot of the time it is from the marriage of their parents. Some children abuse verbally so much, they use foul languages because of what their parents model. So role modeling is like the most basic part of the most basic responsibility of you as a parent. It's like your most basic responsibility. It's like handing down life scripts to your children. That's what role modeling is. As easy as it is, or as simple as it is, whatever you model in your marriage is like a script you are handing over to your children so that later now they can start acting it out. And the thing is that most of the time they start acting it out unknown to them. A lot of the time they start acting it out unknown to them, unconsciously. So most times it means that they have absorbed most of these things. They have absorbed it. A lot of the time the childhood is like the absorbent age, where the child absorbs things from the environment, things from school, things from, and a lot of the times they absorb most of the things from the home, from the marriage. Okay, so that is how your children learn to love. That is where your children learn to communicate. That is where your children learn to partner. That is where your children learn to resolve conflicts. That is where they learn teamwork. That is where they learn to treat their spouses, their future spouses, correctly or properly, appropriately. That is where a lot of the times they learn their behavior as they grow up. So 100% of the times, our children will model what they see. They will model. That's why I want to ask, what do they think about your marriage? Have you even asked them this question? Because it's important. Every single question we ask here is important that your children answer for themselves or by themselves, especially when you know that they can talk, they can say basic things. They should answer. Okay, so what do they think? What are they learning from you? Jennifer Flanders said your relationship with your husband may be the only marriage book your children will ever read. Yes, it may be the only marriage book your children need. So, what lessons are they taking with them when they leave your home? What lessons? If we do a quick survey here now, if we'll ask a lot of persons that are having issues in their marriage are having those issues because of the patterns that their own parents created for them. Okay, so more likely than not, an abusive father will raise an abusive son a lot of the time. More likely than not, an empathetic mother would raise an empathetic child a lot of the time. So if you had issues growing up, especially with your parents, you need to watch it. Okay, that's why we have marriage counseling sessions, because we don't want some of these things to be the pattern our children begin to build on. You do not want some of these things to be the pattern your children, in fact, most of the times they build on it, and most of the time before they even go into marriage, they have issues with relating with others, issues in their offices, issues with a lot of things. Sometimes even issues with trying to pick a partner, because a lot of the time they get they fall into they get into conflict, misunderstandings, and it just goes on in circles. So as a parent, please work on yourself, work on your marriage if you have to, because of your children. Because what roadmap are you handing over to them? What roadmap? If your marriage is a roadmap, is a blueprint, what exactly are you handing over to them? Okay, will they be able to find the right path? For some of our children, they may never be able to find the right path. So let's talk about some of the impressions or some of the messages our children may be getting from our marriage. One is a warped perception of love. Some of us are already modeling a warped, like a distorted perception of love, because when we always have different dynamics in our marriage, all right, intense conflict, especially in front of our children, or a lot of the times, even when you try to hide it because it's something that you do or something that you're used to, you find it difficult to hide. All right, our children see how much we love our spouse. Our children see how much your children see how much you love their mother. Your children see how much you love their father. Sometimes you think they are not paying attention. They're actually paying attention, and they are learning. So it's not something that can be hidden. Okay, conflicts, manipulation, verbal and physical abuse, a lot of the time in our marriages are what they see. So you need to ask them, because a lot of the times when you ask them, they will tell you what they see. And if you ask them further, they will tell you how it is affecting them. So emotional absence is what we model sometimes in our marriage, because most of the time we're not around. So they are wondering, okay, what time? Maybe fathers are not always supposed to be around. Maybe mothers are always supposed to be busy, and they just go about in that pattern. Okay, so when you model emotional absence to your spouse, they see it. When you model emotional distance to your spouse, they see it. When you model only gifts, only some form of things, they also see it. Okay, and a lot of time they internalize some of these unhealthy patterns. They feel, okay, it's okay as long as you can buy me gifts, it's okay with me. It will shock you to know that a lot of girls now have this warped perception of love, such that even in their relationships now that are leading to marriage, they do not even care about emotional presence, because they never had it, they never saw it in their family or with their parents. So they just feel, okay, as long as I can get the gift, as long as I can get this one. So our children need to know that they also demand, or they also should stand for some of these values, some of these things. Okay, so some of them already feel there's no perfect spouse out there. Some of us need to go to some of these blog spots when they post things about marriage. We need to go and see some of the things that people, I mean, Nigerian, African, people in the world write. Immediately they see a news about a divorce, immediately they see a news about something negative about marriage, come and see comments. Come and see comments. So a lot of guys now have their parents probably modeled that financial, when you have money, keep it away from your wife. So that's why our boys or our men already have the perception that there's nothing like joint spending or joint communication when it comes to finance. That is because most of them have seen the pattern of their fathers, have seen the pattern of their mothers. They have seen that they can go to their father to ask for money and still go to their mother to ask for this money for the same thing, because they don't even, they've seen the inconsistency. Okay, so many things. Does your child have a warped perception of love? Do they have a distorted perception of love? Do they feel there is no perfect spouse out there? So I saw a lady post that as long as the man is coming back home, the man is doing the right thing, and even if he let him marry two wives, let him do what he wants to do, it's not possible for a man to stay with just one wife. These are some of the perceptions our children are having because of what they are seeing. Okay, so we have to be very careful. We have to be very careful. Another thing our children are accepting is unbalanced power dynamics. Okay, they feel like one partner should dominate. So now this domination is not just about the men. In some homes, the men are the dominant figures. In other homes, the women are the dominant figures. So in some homes, the women answer to the men for everything. They don't see unity. They don't see bond. What they see is disunity a lot of the time. What they see is authority. What they see is that one person is an authority figure and everyone bows and listens to the person. And most of the time, the ladies begin to feel, okay, that is what a husband should be like. Most of the time, the men begin to feel like that is the right thing to do. So they go ahead that way. And most times their wives in the future suffer the consequences for our actions as parents that were not corrected. Okay, so most of the time the ladies tolerate being controlled or being battered and beaten however they like. Now the third thing I want to talk about is inconsistency. Okay, some of our children think there is so much inconsistency in our marriage, and most of the times if you don't ask them directly, you may never know. They think that you're not presenting a united front. Okay, a united front gives your child a clear message of what you stand for as parents, a clear message of both of you, what you people stand for as parents. So when you disagree in front of your children, argue about some basic decisions in front of them, it can make them feel like they can choose sides. And then that way they begin to learn that, okay, so we can actually argue that way in front of our children as we grow up. We can talk about it. So one parent contradicts himself, the other parent contradicts herself, all in front of the children. Sometimes we verbally abuse ourselves. One parent is shouting at the other parent right in front of their child. So imagine what your child feels or thinks about you as a couple, that you are shouting at your spouse in front of them. They also think, okay, it's normal. They normalize it, that they can shout at their spouse right in front of their child, of which shouting is not even a communication pattern. It's not even a language of communication. So a lot of the times we openly criticize our spouse in front of them. One person will enforce a rule, oh, don't touch this thing. The other person will say, it's okay, no problem, without trying to talk about it in private. Okay? So one person will punish a child, the other person will come and reverse it. Like the inconsistency is so evident, like so visible, and the children are seeing it, and that is what they are picking out of your marriage. Okay, a lot of times, so one person undermines the other person's authority. Okay, you have told the child, bring this. The other person is saying, no, keep it there. And right in front of the child, you're even confusing the child. You're confusing your teenagers. You're confusing your children because you're inconsistent. You cannot make decisions on basic issues like, oh, what time should they sleep? Mommy is saying they should sleep at 8 o'clock. Daddy is saying they can stay awake a little more. Like they are seeing it, okay, they can actually find their way. That is how they get to feel they can get their way around things in the home. That is where they begin to disobey one person and hide behind one person to get what they want. That is how they begin to feel that they can actually do what they want, however they want, in their own marriage. So what are you modeling? What are you modeling? A lot of communication gaps in our marriage reveal a lack of coordination, a lack of consistency. Communication gaps. You don't know which one. In one home, you are making decisions. One today you are here, tomorrow you're there. Your children are seeing that. You think you're doing it's just between you and your spouse. No, they are seeing it that inconsistency is okay. That's why a lot of them are unable to make decisions for themselves because of that. So When your child acts like they are now bosses in the home, or they can now trick one parent to get the other parent, it is because of these things, issues like this. So I ask again, what are you modeling in your marriage? I ask again, what are you modeling in your marriage? And this one we started later than usual because of the issue we had at the beginning. But this is a major issue. Every child models after their parents. So as a wife, now not as a mother, as a wife, what does your child see? Okay, so if your child is a male, your male children are modeling, or they are getting a perception of the kind of wives they will get married to from you. As a wife, your daughter is getting a perception of who she would be, and most of the time this perception just comes subconsciously. It just happens subconsciously because of what they have seen in you. As a husband, your children pattern themselves after you. And if they do that, will they be able to stand? Will their marriages be able to stand? Okay? If you are disrespectful to your wife, you are disrespectful to your spouse, will your children be able to stand when they begin to learn that disrespect in their own marriages? Okay, if you're rude and you are so domineering in your marriage, will your children be able to stand when someone else dominates them, or when they begin to dominate others? Will they be able to stand? Some of our children are having a lot of issues emotionally because of what we have set for them, because of the standards we have set, the values we have set for them. And most of the values are not good, seriously, because in their offices they're having issues arguing, in their homes among their friends they're having issues arguing, because they have seen a pattern and it is difficult for them to come out of it. See, some of our marriages need counseling, some of our children need counseling, because they need to come out of this warped perception of marriage. They need to come out of this skewed perception of marriage. Okay, these dynamics profoundly affect your child's understanding of love, your child's understanding of marriage. So I ask again, and for the last time, I ask again, what does your child think about your marriage? What does your child think about your marriage? This challenge is supposed to help you go back and ask your children, of course, if they are up to the age, and then go back and reflect on your marriage. Go back and reflect on your marriage. Do you have communication gaps? Do you have inconsistencies? Are there decisions you're unable to make that is affecting your children? Do you have issues with how you express love? Because that is what they see. Okay? Because we do not have a lot of time, I'm going to end here. I'm going to end it here. I hope that you had what you wanted to, or what you really need for this conversation. I hope you got it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm glad you always join. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, okay? And don't forget that we're coming back again to take on day 19 tomorrow. Bye, everyone.